Gentlemen and ladies, welcome to the remaiden voyage of Nerdherders. My name is Greg Lagans. Usually, I have my own comic book podcast to promote, to talk about, and to ad nauseum geek out. But today, I am joined by the originators of the podcast that you're listening to right now, Nerdherders. Where we herd nerds like a herd of cats, and we talk about all things geekdom. So joining me in this massive undertaking is the originators of Nerdherders, where we got the name and the concept and all that, Damien Dragon and Foxy Fox, my favorite nerd couple. And joining us also in the corner, the brainchild of all this, the man behind the curtain, pay no attention to him, Mr. Dan Law 83, if you want to follow him, and by God, you ought to, Mr. Dan Calachico.
Thank you very much. I take no credit for any of this, but I take all of it.
Thank you. So what's our first topic? I know some stuff happened today in the world of geekdom, but we could talk about anything you guys want. I've been out of the loop since my last comic book podcast was March 13th, Friday the 13th. So even though I have a lot stored up, you guys, your show.
That's a great balance because we're so out of the loop, generally with actual comic books and all like that. So we're more up on the nerd culture and everything like that. So, we'll just bat it back and forth.
Yeah, there's so many things that can be said considering everything's been at home. San Diego Comic-Con's been at home. E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, has been all on friggin' virtual stuff. Almost every week something new video game-wise is coming out.
I had jotted down this one. The one
I know, I did
about.
too. I guess with, technically the return of Nerdherders, first thing off the bat, I guess we can discuss is the teaser return of a network cable show called G4.
Woo! G4 returning, which is actually, it's funny because when we're getting ready to start this podcast and we're invited on to start it, G4 had just closed its doors. And it was a big influence, a big part of our daily lives, watching the show like every day, all their programming and everything. And so we said, you know what, we're going to kind of do an homage to them in the way they did things, and we're going to do ours the same way. So our Facebook page, keeping the legacy alive, it's the original G4 logo with our additive on it, kind of just keeping it flowing, keeping it going. So it's like, what a fitting time. And like that video, when they released that teaser, I know I had a couple of friends, like we're all sitting there like, is this, and then those little chimes hit at the very end, and even the goosebumps all went up, and it's like, oh my God, they're coming back. So like definitely excited for G4. I know they have a new vice president or something.
Yes, actually, Vice President of Operations for G4 is now officially Blair Herter, who was one of the hosts of Attack of the Show for a while. Before closing, he's married to Jessica Chobot. Both were working for Nerdist for a time. And I guess they finally decided to retake up this mantle. So we have those two that are, involved, which means they might try to bring the old crew back, I hope, sans Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
However, Olivia Munn is officially endorsing,
which bleeds into the wrestling aspect,
Xavier Woods to be a G4 host.
Yeah, because Xavier Woods, 2 days ago, or even less than 24 hours,
he got hashtag Austin Creed.
Yeah, he was he's been pitching and pining to have like a hosting job with them. And let's face it, he's a shoo-in. I mean, he's already hosted how many video game tournaments and everything like that, and worked at
his
E3.
His YouTube channel, up, down.
I'm still on the fence about it though.
Yeah.
Only because he had so much success with his own channel, up, down, and doing everything video game wise as Austin Creed, until the E kind of was like, hey, bring it over to our channel. Now you do it with our people. You do it our way. So it's like, it's kind of iffy because he wants to do that and have it be its own thing. But then if it all gets affiliated, it can get so messy, and then money and politics.
And it creates an interesting thing because, not to make it a WWE AEW thing, him and Kenny Omega are very, very tight. And Kenny Omega is very big on the video game stuff to the point where he's developing a video game like that.
Yeah.
Like is he going to want to be in G4, and is he going to be allowed to bring Kenny Omega in?
Yeah, can there be an unbiased
Can it be
thing?
Just a separate thing, or they're not going to be able to work with each other because they work for two different companies?
There's so many variables.
A conflict of interest, so to speak.
Well, in to their respect, though, AEW and WWE have several conflicts of interest going for quite a bit. What with one of their wrestlers being married to somebody else in their W. So I think they weathered that storm pretty well. So if they can do well with one of the AEW guys being married to one of the WWE guys and vice versa, I'm sure they can get through the. Hopefully, they can navigate the Austin Creed Kenny Omega potential faction.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it's like now it's like, okay, what are we gonna get? And that's the thing too. It was just that teaser, so you don't know what they're bringing back,
like
what they're doing. You know, you don't anything.
Coming back is what was that? It was all about game codes, like the cheaters.
Yeah,
the
cheat code game, and Kevin. We want Kevin Ferreira back.
Oh my God, I love it.
Kevin Allison Hayslip. Like, oh my God, it was such great memories, and they were such trendsetters for what they did, and that was really the launching pad for geek culture. And I know when they shut its doors, like there was such a gap, and people were so heartbroken.
And where to get
and everything like that. And that's what we tried to emulate when we started the podcast, was just paying homage to that.
I think Dan wants to speak. Would you like to say something, Dan?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to my channel. It's my turn now. So here's where I'm nervous, and I don't want to insult the new G4, because of course I'm going to tune in wherever the hell it is, because I still have memories of. I was going to say I'm the oldest one here. I'm not. I'm not anymore. I'm like the youngest one here now. But I 83.
I'm 38. Yes.
I'm youngest. Yes. But I still have memories of like getting up on a weekend morning where Dad and my stepmother were still or my mom was still, when I was living with her, getting ready for the day, and just watching video game trailers on Tech TV or G4 and Cinematech and the early Attack of the Show. Here's where I have a problem, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through an existential crisis when this happens. Two of the guys that used to work for G4, they were producers behind the scenes, started with Adam on Machinima Inside Gaming, who now run Funhouse. Well, one of them's left since then. But they do Funhouse, and I watch Bruce Green and James Willems. They used to work, and Adam also used to work behind the scenes at G4. They started that channel with, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because, like, you guys with Nerdherders and Funhouse and Inside Gaming filled in that gap. And it's like, no, the gap's filled. It's too much. What am I gonna do?
It's also a matter of, we already know it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah.
But in the same right, it's also a matter of, will it all still work, considering
everything's out there now.
Not even considering how much times have changed. A lot of the stuff on Attack of the Show that was done back in the day.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna say it didn't age well, because it still did. It's still funny as shit. But it's just a matter of, you can't do that on TV anymore.
Yeah.
Like some of the things they would say just for funsies with no harm intended, and no one took offense to it, was when Olivia Munn and Kevin Ferreira did, Fatty Olympics. Or Olivia Munn jumping in the pie dressed as a fucking
as a French maid. Or her doing the thing with the the sausages and all that. So they did a lot of stuff with by today's standards, it's like, no, we can't do that now.
So, it's going to be different. And one of the things that made it so good back then was that it was so loose and so carefree, and nobody took offense, because it was all fun and games. It was that kind of community, but even the community has changed so much. And
then on top of that, other than a teaser, there has been no specification. Is it going to be a cable channel like it used to be? Is it going to be a Twitch channel? Is it going to be a YouTube channel? Yeah. Because essentially, you don't need syndicated TV anymore. No. You actually don't. Yeah.
And I will say, with YouTube and Twitch, you can get away with Fatty Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, that's the thing. Do you pay a broadcast television thing, and you can only reach X amount on your channel, or do you just do it online, and then you have less guidelines and less red tape, and you can do more and more of what you want?
We predicted the future. We totally did a Nerdherders episode about this. YouTube better than TV, remember?
Oh,
and
yeah,
we did. We totally predicted how YouTube, Netflix, and there were going to be all these other streaming channels, and nobody was going to have a need for cable anymore. And look at us. When was the last time we watched cable other than Cartoon Network?
Wrestling.
We watch Netflix. We watch YouTube. We watch Disney Plus.
I watch every time Bloodsport's on. Oh no, look, Bloodsport. All right.
Okay, so I'm sorry. We go from El Rey Network to Cartoon Network, and that's it. We don't watch anything anymore.
Yeah, we really don't.
Thrones
is on.
Sorry.
Okay, go.
No, I'm also trying to keep track of the chat. Pennywise0308 says, I love Veronica and Damien with a bunch of black hearts, so hello.
Aww.
And
Pennywise, I'm sorry, Pennywise.
Pennywise. Not that Pennywise.
Maybe. Never know.
Kev Isaiah 84 says, bro and sis, I miss you guys.
Yes, you do.
Aww.
And Danny says, unless they put Attack of the Show on late night on TV, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think? I don't think. I think it has to be electronic, and I mean like YouTube or Twitch, because
I'm thinking too. Because cable television is a dying thing. Everything is on. Because again, you're catching more people, a larger viewership, but also again, you have less red tape. As we were saying, you can't do this, you can do that.
I mean, G4, once upon a time was tech TV. They were the latest when it came to technology and the nerd culture and nerd community, and all of that has stemmed into what this is: phones and apps and streaming services.
And all that stuff, yeah.
It's only appropriate.
Foxy. Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, whatever platform it comes back on, because of the
I love
yes,
cats.
because of the Pussycat. I was going to say.
We have 4 of them ourselves.
But what kind of show is it going to be now? Because we live in unprecedented times where kids take over the world. Everything is socially distant. So, like we've seen just this week in Comic-Con, we've had whole cons of virtually. Kevin Smith had a whole Bill and Ted reunion online. We've seen Saturday Night Live do it. Is this when G4 does come back? Is that the kind of show we're going to get? And when this finally ends, and we can actually hug our brothers and sisters, like it said so in the good book, Entertainment Weekly, will we even go back to a studio? Because we've had so much success with reunions and with people coming together. I've seen Hugh Jackman and Tom Hanks more on TV now than I ever had in any of their movies, because everyone can virtually.
At the end of the day, these celebrities are also human beings with busy schedules and everything.
Wait, what?
That. Yeah, right? Are they really? Have you ever eaten with one? Another reference.
I got it.
Right, you got it. But again, it's like, it doesn't have to, it lessens also the conflicting schedules. Hey, I'm in LA that day. Oh, but I got to be in Boston filming something, or I got to be here. It doesn't matter where they are, because it's like, oh, well, I have a computer or my phone. We can get together regardless and do it this way anyway.
Okay.
So
will that be the end of the Attack of the Show studio, though?
Yeah, that's
that's the sadder part of it. And then the funny thing is, Attack of the Show was really like the thing that really got YouTube hot too, because you remember they had their top 5 YouTube videos that they would pick. So they made Piano Cat famous. They were really the ones Keyboard Cat. They made Keyboard Cat. They made
Keyboard Cat, Decency Kitty.
They made
hamster with the.
They made all those. They made YouTube. They really made YouTube a thing, and like they would say, whatever YouTuber it was and everything. So like YouTube owes a lot to them too.
Any podcaster that does like a nerd culture / comic book / video game podcast, any streamer, even down to YouTube content, without something like Attack of the Show, Ray William Johnson would never had his equals 3 and his countdowns, and from there Anna Akena and.
Oh, I love her so much. Oh my God.
I agree, and the thing is, Attack of the Show, the set was as big of the part of the show as the show itself.
Yeah, it was basically a cast member. The set was a cast member too.
Exactly. It was the environment, but with where we're living now and with everything, with you, granted, they can probably get more guests now because of social distancing, but with that being the sacrifice of one of the best sets in TV history. Is that
And it
going
was
to
a
be gone?
simple set. That's the funny thing. It was a simple set. Because the funny thing is, the first set, though it was small,
Uh-huh.
it was very busy for Attack of the Show / Tech TV. But then when they got the bigger studio, it actually, the more space, they simplified it, and it actually was much better to look at aesthetically.
I agree.
I wanted to backtrack on the social distancing thing you said earlier, Craig.
Uh-huh.
Going just to piggyback on the Funhouse Inside Gaming thing, I love them still. They're still putting out really funny content during this whole thing where they have been going to the office and using all the resources they have. However, I desperately miss the chemistry is still there, but the chemistry is multiplied by about 6 when you're in the same room as somebody. So
Yeah.
I do think a lot of this will suffer if eventually we're going to go to some. When I say normal, I don't mean the ones who think they run the country, by the way. I just want to clear that up. I'm talking about as entertainment, entertainment as a wide. And when I say entertainment business, I mean wrestling on down to YouTube. The whole gamut. Eventually, it is going to go back to normal. It's going to be able to go back to normal because I see all these other countries that figured it out.
New Zealand, I'm looking at you.
You're looking at you, New Zealand. But yeah, there's still a lot of magic there, but it's just not the same. And I also wanted to add before I sit back again, it'll be a very, very. If they don't hire Xavier Woods, they miss
They're
out.
going to, without a doubt, they're going to.
They miss out if they don't.
They're going to, because also like WWE is going to be like, oh, it's another thing. You know,
Eight Butter 41 says hello, Nerdherders. Miss you guys.
Oh,
Thank you. But with the WWE, I mean, how long are they milking this injury with Woods? I mean, is that black? And just to go to wrestling for a quick aside, they're finally giving Big E a push because Kofi's injured. So is this a way to break up the New Day so that way they can explain all of them not being on TV? And since E's probably going to be the only full-time worker of the New Day, will that give Xavier more time to get his geek affairs in order?
probably. I would imagine so. I mean, you know, his up down down channel is hot.
Yes.
You know,
Watch it every week.
That channel is ridiculously hot. I mean, he's got, and then, you know, and it was cool because he's got, you know, he's got his own broad spectrum of things. Because other than the video game, you know, they do the Dungeons and Dragons play and everything like that. You know, with Alexa, like a bunch of people on there that you never even thought of as being gamers. You know, Asuka and Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler and all these. You know, Tyler Breeze, like, these are all gamers, really? Like, Rusev, you know, Rusev's a huge gamer. You know?
I didn't know that.
Where did this come from? Or, like, Sasaka or anything, you know?
I have an Xavier Woods question. How long do you think until he just retires from wrestling altogether with all this stuff going on?
I give it 3 years.
I mean, you know, it also comes down to, you know, like, well, I am making X amount, not getting hurt versus X amount, which is less, getting hurt. And I'm still doing what I love.
Right.
You know,
and he's got his doctorate, so he really doesn't have to work, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, and, you know, they, like you say, you can't wrestle forever as much as you want to, but you know.
Who would want to?
But, you know, doing something like an Attack of the like G4, he could do that forever.
Yeah.
You know, he could do that forever, and then also from what I understand too, he's looking to start his own video game company as well. So he's looking beyond,
looking way down the future. Yeah,
looking beyond the thing already. You know, he's looking at starting a video game company and all this. So you know, and obviously it seems like that's more so where his passion is going.
Yeah, because he wasn't, and honestly, and nothing against Xavier Consequences, Creed, through his whole career, he wasn't supposed to get this far. I mean, he had so many limitations. Always a great worker and always a great guy. Everyone always loved, but I never thought I would see him as a main event guy in the WWE, even if he had 5 people with him. You know.
Yeah.
But the guy's got tremendous talent, and even while he was working in the Indies in TNA, he was getting his doctorate and still going to school, because he, even way back then, he knew that what he was going to do down the line after wrestling was over.
A lot of these guys are smarter now than they were back then, or even when we were coming up.
I mean, the people that we used to hear road stories with and sit in the learning tree with, if you watch them now, they all say the same thing. The one thing they say is their generation, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them made mistakes when it came to their money and everything like that. They said the new generation now is smarter. They party less and they sit in their rooms and they video game, or they're investing in themselves to do something else beyond. A couple of them have opened tattoo shops, and they're getting degrees for other things. I think a couple of them even got the degrees while on the road, doing it online after working. Like,
wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
that is a far cry, because I hear people from my generation, when they walk into a locker room now, it used to be back, you walk into a wrestler locker room, you see them playing cards, you see them, talking about who they were with last night, they're playing ribs, they're doing whatever. Now you walk into a wrestler, everyone's on their phone. Everyone's checking their Twitter page. Everyone's seeing how many likes they get, and they could be texting the guy right across the locker room from them.
The first time I got to work ROH, and she thought this was a kicker. The first time I got to work ROH, I walked in, they had an N64 hooked up, and they were playing No Mercy. Everybody.
There you go.
Of course.
We digress. Back to our actual show here.
Yes.
But I mean, SDCC was great. They covered a lot of cool stuff. I mean, we watch a lot of the toy stuff, obviously, for the kids, and everything like that. A lot of the McFarland DC stuff looks amazing.
Did you guys see the Todd McFarland documentary that came on last weekend?
That I missed. I have not watched that yet.
So good. And to any of our listeners or viewers, it's called Todd McFarland, The Hell I Won't. And it great title, but it really typifies who he is. Old, never before seen stuff, clips of him when he was on a talk show with Stan Lee, talking about when he was writing Spider-Man 299 and Spider-Man 300, which put him on over the top, put him on the map, and everything all up to Spawn to when he left Marvel, and to it really focused on a guy that we were just talking about, Xavier, and him looking way past his career in wrestling. Todd McFarlane was a guy that always knew how to draw, never took a single class, and knew exactly what he wanted to do, and didn't think anything past that. Yeah. Just thought, I want to draw comic books. I want to be a comic book artist, and that's it. And even into getting his vision across. And I love Todd McFarlane, everything he's written, everything he's created, but you'll see in this documentary, that's what makes it so good, why I love documentary, is he's such a dick.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone he's ever worked with, the guy is such a huge pain in the ass.
Yes.
He's like he's the TO of comic book artists. It's like you take the talent, but you got to deal with the assholery, and that's the trade-off. It's like I'm going to get great stuff out of this guy, but at the same time, I want to punch him right in the goddamn face.
Hey, Craig, it didn't happen to cover when he was working with the Edmonton Oilers, did it?
No, he skipped that part.
He created this great third jersey that had this stylized oil droplet, and I think he had a stake in the team at one point, and everybody hated it, so it just went nowhere, and he effed off. Speaking of being a dickhead, he's like, I'm out of here. It was one of my. I'll show you guys later. It was one of my favorite Oilers jerseys, and you wouldn't think, when you think of the Oilers, if you're connected to sports a little bit, you think Wayne Gretzky.
Obviously.
And this jersey completely erased all of that. And I loved it. And they just never went with it. I loved it.
They focused a lot because he is Canadian. I didn't know that, and how his love of hockey. And but they skipped over that Edmonton Oilers part.
Well, probably for a good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, he had he had a race car. Like it was so much stuff going on.
Please watch it. It's on demand on Sci-Fi. It's called Todd McFarlane. The Hell I Won't. Great story, and you get to see him like just the art that he was making. I mean, again, never before seen stuff as he was drawing Spider-Man 299 that introduced Venom and the openings of Spawn. Just really, really, really good stuff.
Nice. Now, also, as we mentioned, as you guys mentioned, there was the Kevin Smith panel and everything like that. So we were Bill. How's everybody feeling about the next Bill and Ted? Which I'm already seeing it when the last trailer they had is obviously introing the daughters. They're looking to do the full circle, possibly even pass the torch on the franchise. And I might have to say the girls playing the daughters were hilarious. I thought they were hysterical in what little I saw of them. But what is everybody's feelings on the Bill and Ted?
I don't know when they announced it. I think I finally just saw it today. But Keanu, I love that man. He went on. Oh, he's not dreaming. He's just friggin' awesome. I just want to sit there and have a cappuccino with this guy. He put out that Bill and Ted is going to be released for stream as well as in theaters, and you can enjoy it however which way you want. And
Sony, Ghostbusters, please. Sorry.
Yeah. They're providing it in both capacities. That way, if you want to go out and see it, you can go out and see it, or you can watch it in the leisure of your home. Whichever one you feel safest doing, it's accessible to all. And I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
I was on board with this when they announced this a year ago when we saw Keanu, and this is right on the heels of John Wick 3. He's promoting, and there's Alex Winter. And when I saw those two together, I just thought, hey, that's cool that they're still friends after all the time when they're actually doing a movie together. I already was in no matter what they did, even if it was just those two guys, if it was My Dinner with Andre, just those two guys sitting in a room and a table and that's it, I'd still go to see it. So I've watched, I cannot wait. Dan knows this about me. I hate trailers. If there's a movie I want to see, I don't want to see trailers. Trailers are way too long now. They give away way too much.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not that they're going to put the funniest stuff in the trailer anyway, but I'm already going to see it, so I don't need to see what I'm about to see. But I know the story, and it looks amazing. The only bad part is no George Carlin and there's no Clarence Clemens, but I know they'll from what I understand, they work around that, and they give an homage to those two in the film. So obviously I cannot wait.
The only thing that's got us weirded out about the trailer is Keanu with no beard now is so weird looking.
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's just like, dude, keep the beard. It doesn't matter.
And the weird thing is, Damien, we grew up with Keanu with no beard.
I know. He's like, now we want Keanu with a beard all the time.
That man is a national treasure. He always has been, but like
that he is.
John Wick and now this and getting his hands into Cyberpunk and even just doing stupid little cameos. Like he did a cameo in a Netflix romantic comedy.
Oh yeah,
yes, always be my maybe. Yes.
Yeah,
and then pretty much spoofing himself because he plays himself.
Yes.
And then all the while just still being humble Keanu. It's like that man is just amazeballs.
Exactly. I mean, and not for nothing. I mean, yes, for those of us waiting on Cyberpunk are pissed at the umpteenth setback for it and everything like that, which actually turns out it's just going to be because it's the new consoles. But okay, I was getting Cyberpunk as it is, but then when last year's E3. When he walked on the stage and they announced the whole special edition, he was part of it. And I'm like, oh, honey,
I'm looking up. I'm like, is that Keanu?
And we're like, oh my God, we're freaking out as much as, love you. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Like, he was awesome. But then, when they announced the whole thing for the special edition, like less than an hour later, I'm telling her about it on the thing. And she looks at me literally and she goes, and you haven't pre-ordered it yet. Why?
I'm an enabler.
But again, it was because of Keanu. It's like,
of course.
I must have to carry more because it's Keanu. I'm going to get this.
The way we do anything is because of Keanu.
Exactly. Now, and then today we know, of course, because I know Dan's amped about it, the Marvel Avengers game for September dropped the big news about Hawkeye today.
Hawkeye being the first free downloadable character you can play beforehand. It's got unique adventures independent from the game which already looks absolutely amazeballs, if I can borrow that word, Foxy.
Absolutely.
I hope you didn't trademark it because I can't pay you for it.
Yeah.
It looked, yeah, absolutely. I've been jonesing, you know how we are for the next Bill and Ted for a new Avengers game for about 9 years now, since the last Ultimate Alliance 2. So I've wanted an Avengers game, especially since the movie's been blowing up. It's like, why hasn't there been an Avengers game yet?
Good one.
Yeah, a good one. I agree. I mean, and I'm not the fighting games. I mean, the actual platform
With a good
storyline.
story and everything. Yeah.
Yes, you can get all the characters together.
I had this pre-ordered from the first trailer. I don't know what everybody was waiting for. I don't know what the problem is. They don't look like the movie characters. Well, gee, you know.
Now, and gaming. Did anybody hear about the leak? I think it was Best Buy or Walmart of a new G.I. Joe video game.
No.
There was actually a leak. It was you could get some of the information on YouTube now. It's G.I. Joe Operation Blackout.
Okay.
Basically, you know, very stylized characters, 3-on-3 teams. You pick which side you want to play on and everything like that. And it's starting to sound and look like it's actually going to, because every G.I. Joe game that's ever come out in the history of G.I. Joe games has been garbage. This is horrible. But, you know, like, early
Holy
still
shit.
Oh, you found it. I guess you found it, right? You found it. But no, it's stylized. It looks amazing. It's supposed to be like this 3-on-3 story adventure. You pick your sides and all like that. And it leaked by accident. And I think about an hour or so after they leaked it, of course, they took it off for pre-order and everything. But yeah, that's supposed to be coming out. I think I didn't give a date, but G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. You definitely got to check that out, Craig, if you're a G.I. Joe fan.
Dude.
Now, see, here's the thing, Damien. I'm not aware of any of the G.I. Joe games. Are they like a Call of Duty type of thing? Or
there hasn't been a G.I. Joe game
since like
Nintendo.
There's one of our 4.
There you go.
Yeah, Amber can't share the screen. She's got a no compete clause in her contract, so she can't look. Is the G.I. Joe video game engine? Is it like is it a fighting? Is it like a first person shooter?
It's a third person shooter. It's a third person shooter. It's like you create a 3-person team. You know, of course, there's Snake Eyes and all this stuff. You know, all these characters and everything like that. And you pretty much, you know, it's a 3-on-3. I don't know if it's 3-on-3. It's just you pick a 3-person squad. And you did a game. They haven't said anything in terms of a story yet or anything like that. All they said is, you know, you can choose your side and you have a 3-person squad. That's all. Like, but the still images look amazing. Has a really cool stylization. Similar to like the WWE Battlegrounds, which looks like an actual fun wrestling game, which hasn't come down the pike in years either. We don't need everything to be simulation. We've said that it could be more fun or serious. It could be something fun, and you know, like Battlegrounds is fun, but it has like that nice cartoony stylized look. Not a squat, you know, more stressed out, but it has a really good cartoon feel to it and everything like that. It's that cell look. It has that cell look, very much like Borderlands in a sense. Just less stylized with the lines, but you know, the bigger outline and everything like that. And it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
My biggest gripe with video games right now is the lack of fun. Everything
is so serious.
I completely understand immersive storytelling and great storytelling and gritty and epic. I get it because I love it myself.
Gritty?
Mm-hmm. Gritty.
There are just some times where you just want to play a stupid fun game, and like there just aren't any anymore.
You know, that is the one. Well, there's probably a couple more than one negatives, but that's the one main negative thing that I got from Twitch since actually giving streaming a go and getting fans and getting people to watch is, and you guys should watch too every night.
I have questions about that later for you too.
Well, okay then, I'll answer them. But it's too freaking. Listen, I'm not playing Fortnite. First of all, I suck at Fortnite. I'm playing it on Fridays because I found a group of guys that I enjoy playing with. We have fun. I would like to win, but my good time is not predicated on if I win. There is a few guys there was a guy that I played with that I don't play with anymore, and I love the guy, but I can't play video games with the guy because we always have to win or try, and I can't have fun, and I cannot do that. Part of the thing for Twitch for me is I make getting angry entertaining, which if you've watched me play Spider-Man recently. But yeah, it's calm, stupid, funny, like Deadpool. Harry said the Deadpool video game is stupid fun. Except for the last time I played it live on Twitch,
my only gripe with that one, it was too short. It was
too short. It was done in 4 hours.
Yeah, I know. But she got it for me as a gift, and I'm like,
I spent $60 on that thing.
And I finished it like in a half a day. It was
Gears of War all over again. I'm like,
oh my god, was it Gears of War 3 was the same thing.
Oh, I bought it for him as a Christmas gift. He played it on Christmas. He was done on Christmas. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
You're kidding me, right?
Great gift.
Because that Gears 3 was so much for the
multiplayer,
which I'm not a multiplayer person. It's like, look, I want to multiplayer. Here's a controller. Come to my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Not now, but
not now, but yeah.
No, but agreed. Like I'm currently still playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I started on Mother's Day, and it's been a long time since I've gamed. Okay, and what I absolutely love about this game is that Assassin's Creed, yes, it is a very deep story. It is very emotional. If you've played all of them, like I pretty much have, you know what you're going in for. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey has this great balance of serious and then
a joke,
humor.
Like a punchline here.
Yeah, like you're dealing with death and war and all this other nonsense, and then all of a sudden, the main characters are bantering about the dumbest thing, and you're here like bawling in laughter. It's like there's such a great balance.
Better experience than my Last of Us 2 one.
Fuck that game.
Well, thank you. Well, that's what I was getting ready to. I'm playing. I just finished Red Dead Redemption 2, which thankfully this pandemic gave me the opportunity to finally finish. So I did, and I had to finish it because I had Last of Us 2 waiting in the wing. So I just started Last of Us 2 last week, and I'm going through it. And unfortunately, since I'm late to the party, because apparently people have finished it ahead of me, and they're not too happy either with the finish or the overall game itself. I'm still into it. Maybe it's because I just began it. But I hear what you're saying, Foxy, about it not being fun because
I can talk about it spoiler free, so it's totally cool.
Okay.
It was more so because I was a co-pilot for that game.
Yeah, she's a co-pilot.
There's certain games I don't want to physically play, but I will watch him play
because she wants to see the cinematic of it.
Right,
so what it was with it was that the connection you developed from the first one, there was a disconnect with that connection. So,
yes.
I mean, at least on our end, there were points where we're just like, why is this happening? This doesn't exactly fit in not I don't want to say the mold of the characters because the characters do grow, but even in that growth, you sit there questioning, okay, but why? And then
it's like they want you to. It's like they created the story in a way to try to make you feel a certain way.
Forcing you to feel things.
Where it's like, no, I don't feel that way at all. I'm pissed off.
There was no fluid emotion to it. It was, this is what we're going to give you because we want you to feel this way. Whereas that's not how a game should be. It should be more fluid, more natural. And forcing you to feel a certain way about this character or this character really just made us at least.
See, this is definitely going to have to be. This is
draw back.
Yeah, this is definitely going to have to be like a more elaborate conversation once you finish it, because then we could. Yeah. Because also we think it was. We understand what they tried to do. It was just put together improperly, and if they put it together in a different way, it would have worked. And again, I don't want to say anything because again, I don't want to spoil it. I don't know how far you are in the game. So this is definitely a big conversation to expand upon.
What got me was obviously one of the we lost a major character early in the game, which kind of put was down. The tone was set, and I was more invested in the gameplay after that than the actual story. Did you have any problem? Yeah. Well, go ahead.
No, but that's what happened to a lot of people too, because a lot of people they hit that big moment that happens, which was expected, but
not
so early.
Not that early, yeah.
And and now you're like, because it gets you like this. You're like, oh my god, and you're like, now I just want to kill it.
For me, now strictly from a writer standpoint, not a fan of the game or anything because I do write. It was also a matter of, on what I understand, the game developers and writers not wanting to give in to fans. I am completely about that. Do not give in to what the fans want. But in the same right, don't completely write a game and create a game that you want, because you're just creating something you want, and that's it, without thinking of an audience in general. Because when it comes to writing, they blatantly say, you got to write for an audience. Yes, you can write the book that you want, but know your readers. You don't have to appease every single fan and every single gamer that's going to play it, but you do got to think long run with it. Like, yes, this is the story that I want to tell, but maybe the story you want to tell isn't appropriate for what the game franchise is as a whole.
Gotcha.
So,
and some people are even saying like certain things should have been more of, you should have had a choice. You know, give you a choice.
There should have been more choice.
But again, you know, this is going to have to be obviously an expanded conversation when you finish.
Gotcha.
Although we are definitely not in agreement with the backlash.
No, absolutely not.
It's one thing to not like a game,
but it's another thing to like threaten voice actors and everything like that. Like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, the backlash that like either game voice actors or game creators get over this like of a game, that's just straight up entitlement. You guys shouldn't even be gaming, because that's just unnecessary.
I see Dan wants to say something on that.
He knows we're right.
It started with Ghostbusters.
Didn't it all start with Ghostbusters, Dan?
Yep.
For me, yeah, but that's neither here nor there.
That's where it really came to the forefront with Ghostbusters.
Dragon knows what I mean. Like, it was like a thing you just heard about, and then Ghostbusters came out, and apparently it was nothing anybody wanted. So everybody with an entitled small pecker on internet attacked Leslie Jones, attacked Paul Feig, and people make a joke about it like, well, if you didn't like the new Ghostbusters, you were just sexist. I'm like, no. You're allowed to not like the new Ghostbusters. But there was people who were only not liking it because tits were involved.
Exactly.
Even the Ghostbusters thing, that stemmed from, I forgot exactly what it was because we covered it on Nerdherders when we were on the air. It's something in nerd pop culture happened, and a bunch of fans were in an uproar, signed a petition, and got something changed. And it was after that happened everyone thought they had entitlement to change anything they didn't like. I forgot what it was.
Yeah,
I remember we covered it.
Because that's where the whole barrage of, we want Ghostbusters changed, here's a petition. We don't like the new Far Cry 5, here's a petition. We don't like how Game of Thrones ended, here's a petition. There was one thing that happened, and I hated it because they gave in. I'm like, this is not a good thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Power to the people can also blow up in your face.
Yeah.
Yes. Here's the curveball. At the same time that happened, and I remember that episode, and of course I don't remember the subject either.
Right?
The Sony leak happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry, being the a-hole that he is, calling it Girls Ghostbusters because he's one of those small pecker guys on the internet. I'm kidding, Harry, kind of.
No, he's not.
Kind of, not really.
A little bit. Because I know he's just doing it to annoy me, and so I'm just trying to annoy him back. There was that Sony leak that leaked the script. And everybody based I read the script, and I think this sucks. So it's like, why did you read the script before you saw the movie? Don't you have any self-control?
Plus, on top of that, even before I ever did any acting stuff, not everything that's in the script makes it to film, because what works in writing a lot of times doesn't translate to a camera, which is also why, a lot of times, our favorite nerd culture movies, when they do origins, they cut this out, they cut that out, they cut this out. Some of it is for time, but some of it is also because what works in writing just doesn't work on a camera,
Yes,
and a lot of that stuff is omitted as well. It has nothing to do with them changing things. They have X amount of time to show, we have 90 minutes or 98 minutes, whatever our movie time is, this is what we got. So we got to omit this, we got to go omit that and everything like that, and that's how it is, that's how it's.
For everybody in the chat, it was years before Sonic. This is 2016.
Yeah, this was years before Sonic.
Yeah, the Sonic thing was 2019, 18.
That was something that actually was a good thing.
That was a good win.
That was a good win. Yes, exactly.
That was a good win.
Torino X wants the cat's cat butt cut.
It was somewhere between 2008 to 2000, I want to say 13.
Yeah,
somewhere in that time frame.
I was really squeezing it down there.
I don't remember if it was a TV show or a movie or a game, but there was a big uproar to get something about it changed.
I can't remember what it was.
And the developers or whoever did it gave in to the change. And after that point, everybody now that dislikes something about anything petitions for it to change because they don't like how it ended. They don't like how it was drawn. They don't like this. They don't like that. I forgot what it was. I'm trying to look right now, but there's so many pop culture petitions these days.
Harry, that would be a good idea. Gotham video game.
There was talks of that at one time, like a few years back. I think it was like a news bit, because it's funny because sometimes I look at all the old shows or whatever like that, and I see old news bits or things that I posted that we talked about, and it's like, wow, what happened to this like years ago? It never turned about to do it. But I know at one time there was talks of a Gotham City game where you play more as other characters and everything like that. And
to be fair, not to cut you off, Batman Arkham City was a perfect video game as far as the entire city being a gameplay.
I'd say that's even better than Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what else we got here. I mean,
I'm sorry, Damien, real quick. I meant a Green Arrow video game. I'm sorry.
Green Arrow video game.
Actually, as an Arrow. Harry was talking about Arrow.
Oh, Arrow.
An Arrow video game would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Then another one that we actually kind of, because we had mentioned Game of Thrones briefly before, was breaking like a little while before we came on the air, or whatever the case may be. So, DC is working on now, again, expanding their movie universe, and they're trying to lead to the Justice League Dark, and they may have found their Zatanna. The front runner for Zatanna is Emilia Clarke.
Ooh.
So thoughts on that?
Cersei. The Queen of Dragons, now the Queen of Magic.
I mean, I accept her in any role.
Yes, or whatever. Yes.
She's gonna play a rock. Okay. Fine.
Emilia Clarke from Miss Pac-Man. I'm in.
Sure, fine. I'm in. Sign me up.
See now the geek part of me is coming in, because as much as I adore Emilia Clarke, I'm saying she's way too short. Because I was picturing my Zatanna's tall, statuesque.
Why would you insult Harry like that about short people?
There was a petition to save Defiance.
I do remember. I
would have signed that.
Yeah. Defiance is so good.
I wish that show was saved. Sorry, I'm literally trying.
She's still trying to figure out what it was.
It's going to drive me crazy, and it's probably going to pop in my head like Friday morning. Dragon Tales. It was Dragon Tales. Like, it's going to be one of those moments.
And now it's going to drive all of us crazy, Foxy. Thank you.
If I got to go down this crazy road, everybody's coming down.
Everybody's going down.
Yes. Everybody's in for the ride.
Well, we were speaking about TV and great shows that are no longer gone. The Emmy nominations came out yesterday, and the show that got the most Emmy nominations, 26, was based on one of the greatest graphic novels of all time, Watchmen, that I was not on board with when I found out it was going to be a series on HBO. I mean, I was a big fan of the movies. It's like, how are they going to pull this off? Regina King? What? Okay, I'll watch. And oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen on television.
Okay, so now this is interesting because she was on that fence and has not crossed it. She's like, I watched the movie and she has not crossed it.
But I have my own. It's not a belief. It's just the graphic novel was what it was. It was a graphic novel. Everybody's story is in there. Done. And I just don't see a need for any before stories or any after stories. That's all it is to me.
You like your neat little bow, and that's
I like the bow of the graphic novel. I like those characters specifically.
Did you see it?
Comedian. Give me some more about the comedian.
Have you seen the series at all?
I have not.
Yeah, I was going to say she hasn't crossed the fence.
It's not that I don't want to. I just.
Oh my God! It is one of the greatest pieces of television I've ever watched in my life.
Exactly, and Foxy, all I'm saying is this, and I know I might be late to the party, and I hate being that guy that I watch something and I love, and I try to. Not only do I try to get other people to watch it, but the people that I know would like it, I want to get them on board. I came into this now here I'm the minority. Okay, not just in life and in society, but in this particular case. I wasn't a big fan of the graphic novel. I read it just to say I read it, but it wasn't like I wasn't blown away by it. I mean, Alan Moore is one of my he's written my favorite graphic novel of all time, The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
And Watchmen was good, but I wasn't, oh my God, it didn't floor me. I was the same with I was the same with the movie. The movie I enjoyed a lot more than the graphic novel, and I just let that one go. The Watchman TV series, the only thing I knew about it took place 30 years after the graphic novel, of which I was not a fan of. But this show stands on its own. I've got people that were texting me after it was over who never picked up a comic book in their life, and they're raving about how good this show is. And for it to get 26 Emmy nominations from people that are as far removed from pop culture as you can possibly get speaks to how good this show is. Please, now that we have some time, I'm going to give you this test, Foxy. Give it 20 minutes. Episode 1, season 1. There's only been one season, but episode 1, the 20 minutes. If you're not invested, you don't want to see anymore, but doesn't, turn it off. I'm not even going to give you any crap about it. But the first 20 minutes of episode 1, if you're not on board, or if you say this is not, then that's all. Then we won't bring it up again.
That is an interesting challenge.
I will take that challenge. I mean, again, it's not that it's nothing about hate or I don't see a point.
Oh, I know.
Nothing about it really was enough for me to go, all right, yeah, I'll check it out.
It's kind of like also like the new Penny Dreadful. We heard Penny Dreadful was coming. We were like, yes. And then we got that first trailer, and it didn't have that feel of season 1. It was just like,
I have a lot of issues with it being called Penny Dreadful.
It was like, okay, we're
I don't
done.
want to completely dork out here.
Yeah, but
it's Nerdherders.
It's Nerdherders, not Dork Herders.
You cannot call the show Penny Dreadful if it is not set in Victorian London when Penny Dreadfuls were the horror stories that got put in the newspapers back then. Penny Dreadful is quite literally a Victorian London term. You could not use a Victorian London term to talk about a TV show that's set in the Nazi era in California. I'm sorry, you cannot.
And there, Dan, we just had our first return, Foxy Nerd Rage.
There you go.
Bam.
And it's not about the story itself. I'm pretty sure the new Penny Dreadful has a great story, and we all know there's fantastic actors in it. Just don't freaking call it Penny Dreadful. Not what it is. Penny Dreadful is no.
And another thing.
Sorry. One more thing.
I'm sorry.
Just one more thing.
Just one more thing. Craig, while you're leading the show, I do have when you're done, I have the last subject I want to bring up.
Oh, we'll bring it up right now.
Or are you done?
I was just gonna. Watchmen got 26 Emmy nominations. Also, with 15 nominations, The Mandalorian. Also, the first nomination for Disney Plus ever. So right out of the gate, they got 15 Emmy nominations for a fledgling, for a channel that's not even a year old.
And then they just dropped today 2 news of a potential Darth Maul television series with him appearing in other shows. Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Also a tidbit: Black Widow may or may not premiere on Disney Plus, or may do the Bill and Ted venture. Either it will be available on streaming and in the theaters. So that's still up in the air.
Oh, speaking of, then what's her name? Zoe Kravitz.
Why are you?
Yes, Catwoman.
Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, what now?
Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman for the Batwoman television show.
No, I thought
she's in the Batman
movie.
No, the Batwoman television series.
Nah.
Was it the movie or was it the series?
It's the movie. She's going to be Catwoman in the movie.
Yeah.
The Batman with Matt Reeves.
Whatever. I'm in for Zoe Kravitz in the Catwoman suit.
As am I. And as much as there does not have to be a Catwoman in every Batman movie.
Yes, there does.
No.
There does not.
Yes,
there are other female characters in Batman. I don't know why we.
You know what? You're right. Anne Hathaway was perfect. So was Michelle Pfeiffer. I have my my spank bank. We're done.
And Halle Berry and but we don't need another Catwoman, just like we don't need another hero, Tina Turner. Another reference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I can agree. I love the character of Catwoman. I love the idea of Zoe Kravitz as a Catwoman. However, I do agree. We don't need another Batman Catwoman. Just like we never needed a million Batman origin movies either when we already know the origin.
And what from what I understand with this, the Batman movie with Matt Reeves, which is why it's so top heavy with Batman. We're having Colin Farrell as the Penguin. And Paul Dano as the Riddler, and I believe Jonah Hill may be the Calendar Man, and Zoe Kravitz is playing Selena Kyle. They didn't say Catwoman, but she's playing Selena Kyle. They're putting all these characters in because what I believe they're doing is Batman: The Long Halloween, which is my second favorite Batman graphic novel of all time, and they're skipping the origin story when Captain America: Civil War introduced Spider-Man. We all know the origins. They just said, "Here's Spider-Man." Boom.
Wait a minute, Craig. I don't think I'm clear yet on how Batman gets created.
Nobody is, Dan. I don't think his story's ever been told enough on screen. But from what I understand, and if you're Batman fans, The Long Halloween was pretty much Batman Year 2, which is what Matt Reeves said he's concentrating on. This is Batman Year 2, so there won't be an origin story. It'll just be Batman in this.
That's necessary, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so
like every time they reboot Superman, we know Superman's origin. We don't need to go there. Turtles, we know the Ninja Turtles origin. We don't need to go there. Let's just.
Yeah, and that's what made Civil War such a great. Going back to Marvel films, in that film, that one movie, they introduced two characters without an origin story, and it worked. And people had no idea who the hell Black Panther was. By the end of that movie, they were all fans so much that when Black Panther came out, it broke box office records without an origin story.
Marvel does it super smart too, real quick, where it's like, here's a character, you want to know its origin? Pick up a book.
Pick up a comic book.
Yeah.
My favorite fake troll that the Marvel films did was come out with the Black Panther movie, and then at the end of Infinity War, kill him. That was my favorite, because that theater. Just when he goes and he disappears, you that air sucked out of that room before we even got to the Spider-Man death.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what did you just do?
And then I had to talk people down. Well, doesn't he have a sequel coming out? He can't be dead.
Yeah, no,
duh. And the amount of from that you go from that despair, Dan, to the amazing applause, the big pop when he appeared. In Endgame.
I don't care who knows it. When he looks at Captain America, I was a friggin' mess. I was a mess when he gives him the look, without saying a word. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, we're here, buddy. And I'm just like,
not here, not now, not here, not now.
He's coming. Look, he's here, man.
Yeah, and I still watch the crowd reactions on YouTube, and I saw it. I was lucky enough to see an advanced screening of it, and in a packed theater, and there was crying, there was yelling through tears because everyone was so excited, and at the same time, absolutely glorious. I still watch the crowd reaction films on YouTube from people that snuck in cameras and watching it for the first time. Absolutely amazing.
I love watching crowd reactions.
Oh yeah, crowd reactions.
I love those so much.
Yeah.
And again, not to derive this to wrestling, but one of my favorite ones was the crowd reactions to AJ Styles' debut at the Royal Rumble. That one was
yes.
Because some of those were really good.
Those are really good.
Audience reactions to Baby Yoda getting.
Oh yes, that was
when Baby Yoda gets punched.
Audience
reactions.
Audience reactions to Baby Yoda being punched. Holy shit! People get so pissed. It's not even funny. Actually, no, it's hysterical. Actually,
isn't that funny?
I stopped after 2 episodes.
What? Okay. Pick it back up, Dan. Yeah. And speaking of picking it up, can you pick up our last topic?
Yes, Damien, you and I. Let's talk for a second.
Okay.
And Craig a little bit, but more so Damien because I know what a fan he is of.
Oh shit.
Okay, so we've been trying to do this for months, and then the pandemic killed everything. And Craig and I was going to go with Craig on MMR, and the pandemic killed that too. But there's a trailer for this movie that came out a couple months ago. I don't remember if you know it. It's called Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Of course.
So now that we are here to talk about it, how do you feel?
I have to see like the first trailer, like the Easter eggs were there and everything like that, and I'm getting it. And I get where they're going with it, but it just seemed, because Ghostbusters, though it's a dark thing, is very lighthearted too. So the trailer didn't have that lighthearted feel. So I haven't
You haven't fully invested.
I can't say invested, but I want to see the next trailer so I could get that feel. Because I didn't feel like Ghostbusters just yet. To me, it felt like an amazing, people put together these amazing, over the top, really good fan trailers that you almost think they're legit.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like more to me. It felt like somebody put together this really cool concept for a Ghostbusters movie, but I want to get that feel, or just give me a shot of Bill Murray or Zed Moore or something really quick.
No, I don't want a goddamn shot of the original guys in those trailers. You already ruined it, and I knew. And listen, you and I and anybody who's a Ghostbusters fan, even casually, knows the name Spangler and knew that was.
Of course, yeah. Which that part, I was like, oh.
Yeah. When she pulls, when his granddaughter, that's his granddaughter, by the way, everybody, that pulls aside that jumpsuit, and I'm like,
because she's not as big as a Ghostbusters as I am, but she was here, and I went, oh my God, Spangler!
I appreciate the movie.
Did you catch the foot that stomps on the car for Paul Rudd on Paul Rudd's car?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
My God! Did you? But it's like I said, for me right now, it's feeling like the very first trailer felt more like a really good made fan trailer, like you kind of see on YouTube. You go, the ones that make you go, is this real? Because this looks like this could be real. This is a really good shot. So it's like I don't have that Ghostbusters feel yet, but again, I'm not saying I don't want to. I want to see more.
Yes, I do want one more trailer. I do want one more trailer.
Yeah, give me one more trailer without giving away too much. Is all I'm asking.
I will say this. Did you catch any of the other little Easter eggs? Did you do as much hunting as I did?
I did not do as much hunting as you did because it's been a while since I've seen the trailer. It's called parenting and three kids.
I did this in a day. I don't know what I did this in an hour.
Again, 3 kids, 4 cats, a giant-sized turtle.
I understand. I don't understand. Did you see the name of the mining company?
No, I missed that.
It's Shandor Mining Company.
Shandor.
Ivo Shandor, the guy that built the building that Dana lived in the first movie.
Gotcha.
Just saying. I think Zool's coming back. I don't know.
Well, there was kind of a tease to, because remember, was it the last one? Because those, this is its own thing. It seems like it might still.
I'm glad you brought that up, Damien.
Because what's her face? She says at the end,
What's Zool?
He goes, what's Zool?
Here's my conspiracy theory thought on this.
They're going to tie all in.
I guarantee you there's going to be a tease that ties it all in. And the only reason why I say that is because the only comic books that I have stayed updated on in the last 10 years is the Ghostbuster line, because it's not the kids or the giant turtle. I just have, up until the pandemic, I had a lot of work to do. But I made sure I stayed up on the Ghostbusters comic books. IDW does a wonderful.
IDW is great with the individual titles.
Oh my God. But they did an actual series for years of the original Ghostbusters, and they did a short run of 101, which had the ladies, the 2 main universes joined together. Then they did a universe where all of the universes kind of got split and broken, and they all joined Extreme Ghostbusters, the cartoon world. They all in a wonderful
have you done
way.
So I'm assuming you've done the infestation stuff too with IDW?
Oh, yeah. So I have this weird feeling, and they're not, of course, they're going to be quiet about it. I have this weird feeling, even though the ladies might not show up, that this is a way that's going to tie everything together.
And I have a feeling they're going to tie them in, and that's going to be their way of going, hey, by the way.
Yeah. Because I know, listen, people didn't like the movie. People think it sucked. They say Paul Feig sucks. It's just subjective. Go to hell. I know people that don't like the original Ghostbusters, and I haven't murdered them.
I'll admit, like, I haven't watched the whole movie. I probably caught about, because it was like one of those days, because again, like you guys know, prior to this pandemic, with my work schedule and then the karate school schedule, there was like really no time for anything. So it was like one of those like Saturdays I was sitting here and the kids finally got quiet for a moment. I think I caught it like a little bit more than halfway through. And I just left it on. So I probably watched about a good 3/4 of the movie. But from the 3/4 I saw, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I saw the movie in the theaters 9 times, and 8 times it took somebody different. Okay, and each time we got out of the theater and they're going, I don't understand what the big deal is. It was fine. It was fun. I don't know what's the big deal. I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Because like certain times, we've said this in the past too, on old shows and just in general people. Sometimes, like, yes, we are nerd culture and there's certain things we love in a certain way. But sometimes you have to look at it objectively. Okay, let me watch it from the movie standpoint, not from the fan standpoint. Like, I forgot, there was a movie that we were like, okay, on a fanboy standpoint, it was terrible. On a movie standpoint, it was great.
Wolverine Origins.
Yeah,
yes!
Wolverine Origins.
Yes! Oh my God, I found the other people that felt the same way as I did. Thank you.
Wolverine Origins was not a good Wolverine movie.
It was not a good movie. No.
But it was a good movie.
It was a standalone action movie. It was fun.
Steverine. Whatever.
I've been saying that for years and I get cursed at every time.
And this is why Nerdherders are always controversial, because we say the unpopular opinion.
Give it a different name, take some masking tape, put it over the thing.
Joe Bob.
Just give him a different name. Give him a completely different name. It's a great movie.
It's Pulverine and Schmambit.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Change all the names. It's a pretty decent movie,
I think if like the Asylum Productions made a Wolverine movie, that's what it would be.
That's all it is. Yeah.
It was fun and I enjoyed it, and I don't consider it
Dog man.
Kate McKinnon was great. Yes, she was. Back to that real quick. I wanted to let and because Craig knows our mutual friend that I'm going to mention, Nick Murphy, works at MMR. Before I ever get a chance to say anything to anybody related to MMR, he said this theory, and I just wanted everybody to be clear who would listen to both shows that I also had this theory because I'm a huge Ghostbusters nerd, probably uncomfortably. I believe these are purposefully going to be connected. And it wasn't until, spoiler alert, Damien, Dan Aykroyd shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a cab driver, but he knows what a Class 5 vapor is, and he's not afraid of ghosts. I had this wild, even more spread out than Nick Murphy's was, this wild idea in my head that this is a government cover-up. The original Ghostbusters do exist. It happened in the 80s, in the late 80s, and they covered it up because something bad happened after the second movie that kills Egon. And they go into...
It happened. I got it. The petition was to save Lucifer from being canceled.
Great timing, Fox.
Dragon Tail.
Ties right into what we're talking about. Perfect.
You know, it stays on point with HIC Talk Radio where it doesn't ever make no sense.
For those of you that get the reference, like Thomas Sanders Diviner, like you ever Dragon Tails. That's where the joke comes from.
If I didn't say it, I was gonna lose it again. It was to save Lucifer from being canceled on Fox, and it worked.
Because now they're going on season whatever on
Netflix. They canceled it again. Yeah, thanks. Sorry.
By the way, I knew that she was going to remember before the show was over.
I did. I just didn't know when. It's like, it's like you're waiting for it to, the bomb to go off. It's like, I know it's going to come, and it's like you're waiting for it to just...
Oh, anyway.
But anyway, your theory.
Like, she had that looking off at the distance look, and all of a sudden it was like, bing!
I know it was going to come. I know she wasn't there. I know she's been disconnected from the show since you said it's going to drive me crazy.
Now, here's what you don't... Here's what the listeners who are laughing in the chat don't see. What you see is the one shot, and whenever somebody talks, it cuts to them, and it looks like It looks like somebody's directing a TV show. What I see is the main screen and two others, so I can monitor everybody else. And I literally saw as I'm talking, and I'm like, she doesn't care because I'm watching her do this. And then I literally saw a flash of light when the lightning struck her head. Like Smee and Hook, lightning has just struck my brain, and she remembered it. I saw it all happen, so I knew it was coming.
I'm just crying right now.
That's so funny. So anyway.
Because of, and I know what you're going through, Fox, because when you have something stuck in your head, it's really quick. It's like a missing child. The first 48 hours are crucial. If you don't get it within that time frame, it's gone.
Jesus Christ, Craig.
Yes, but Dan, back to you. Your theory. Nick Murphy, go. Ghostbusters, go.
So Egon's died, and the government has told them to cover it up. So Peter's become a debunker, unassumed named. Ray, since he knew the city so much, has become a cab driver. And Winston couldn't not work with the den anymore, so he's a funeral parlor guy.
Why do I envision you with a cork board, like a detective,
string going to each character?
I had the comic books out, and I cut out a picture. Well, this happened here, and then this happened there, and I was Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I just picture this board in your house with string all over the place.
Yeah, but and then they canceled the sequel because everybody was like, "Yeah, we hate it." So I didn't think we were ever getting this, but
I think with you coming around to that Zool thing or whatever, that's going to be their big double bird to go. Yeah, and the girls are a part of this.
Please,
the girls are a part of this.
Please make that canon. I just want to nothing. If I die from COVID, if I get COVID and die, Damien, I want to see Twitter going, "I hate Ghostbusters now," so I can die happy.
Because if you remember too, like, wasn't there like one tossed out idea, and I know it's been done. I know it's been done in 1001 fan films, whatever, like that. But also because again, I think it stems from the core idea that was mentioned one time of there eventually being different Ghostbusters per.
The original idea from Dan Aykroyd, the original 160-page too long treatment of Ghostbusters, was they were already established. It was in the future. It was already established, and it was like firehouses. There were different places in every city that were fighting ghosts, and it was originally him and Belushi.
Yeah.
And, so the idea, which also got expanded upon in the comic books, was other places have other Ghostbusters.
I remember, like, Ryan Reynolds was supposed to be a part of, like, one, because remember...
Paul Rudd was named.
Paul Rudd, Ryan Reynolds, I believe, wasn't like Eliza Dushku's name thrown in there once? Eliza Dushku's name was thrown there once that time. And like, it was supposed to be like simultaneously like a new set of guys plus the girls, and it was all eventually supposed to.
But not only that, but they also referenced other places in the original cartoon. They continued that in Extreme Ghostbusters, which if any Ghostbuster fans or even casual are listening to this or watching this and haven't seen that second series that happened in the late 90s.
Was not bad.
It was really good. Go watch it. Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to get the Ghostbusters thing in since we're all here now together, and a lovely moment from Foxy. Thanks.
Right. Well, if we have time, do you have time for one more topic, or are we done for tonight?
It's your show. I don't know. I don't care.
Well, one we could all chime in on. Everybody can chime in on is okay. We've gotten our first true trailer. Game trailer, character trailer, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, I know you've had a lot to say on this one because this is her franchise. This is her. My Mass Effect is her.
Your Ghostbusters is my Assassin's Creed.
That's it. My Mass Effect, whatever. This is her thing. But also, I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is like a thing that we're kind of all into. So,
possibly, are you?
Are you? Anybody? Assassin's Creed people?
Just the first one. But don't judge me on that. Now, does Valhalla, I'm guessing, is still in the past, and this is Vikings? I'm sorry.
Yes.
There you
go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. To people who didn't hear, is this Assassin's Creed taking place Valhalla? I'm guessing these are Vikings, and we're using so he's going medieval on your ass.
Basically.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is based if you're playing as a Viking, and it takes place during the time period when Vikings were looking to colonize other portions of England.
So they go to England, because they're looking to.
And every Assassin's Creed game that has ever come out since its very first has introduced new things to said game. Like Odyssey was one of the very first that was like RPG style. This one, which irks me a little bit, maybe, who knows. This one involves, I guess you could say, a little bit more of SimCity, where you have to, or even I think not Fortnite. There's another game that you got to do it with, where you create your village.
You're basically creating, because you
Minecraft.
They land in England, and as you're doing whatever the missions are, you're also colonizing.
You're colonizing. You're creating the buildings.
Oh, wow.
You're getting supplies, etc., which makes sense. And the thing that they're incorporating also with Valhalla, which is something they incorporated with the last two games since they restarted the franchise between Origins and Odyssey, is they are including Norse mythology within this. Because Odyssey included a lot of Greek mythology and lore, and then Origins had a lot of the Egyptian mythology. Things that weren't really tapped on in the previous set of Assassin's Creed games, because the previous Assassin's Creed games more so focused on historical monuments and history, and you were a secret part of all these things that happened. While those are similar in these latest games, these now also encompass a lot more of the mythologies
and the
lores and the cultures to further enhance the story, the main story, which is assassins versus Templars, who's getting the pieces of Eden to not control the world, but to keep everything at balance, etc. And
for those of you that are like Assassin's Creed players or whatever like that, and have not gotten to it yet, Odyssey is technically, because the timeline is actually all over the place in terms of
timeline.
But Odyssey is technically the first one. Yes,
technically Odyssey would be the very first game out of the entire.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Before Assassins versus Templars was a thing.
So basically, Odyssey is the first. He technically is the first assassin.
He or she, whoever you play.
He or she, yes, whoever you play. Is the first.
Would technically be the first assassin, and I say that in quotations because maybe they never say assassin. Okay, so yeah.
And then you go to Origins.
It would be Odyssey, Origins, Assassin's Creed 1, Valhalla, 2, 2.1, 2.2, 3. Well, no, I'm sorry. 4, then 3, 5, and then Syndicate.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to start the Assassin's Creed timeline, I mean, origin story in order, I would start with
Origins. Odyssey.
I would personally start with Odyssey.
Gotcha.
What just happened?
because now I know how it feels, Fox, because I'm constantly, and I've put this on my page, I've put this on every social media platform that I have. People have called me. Casey Boyd from President Steve Show has actually asked me for this. I have to give the Marvel movie timeline all the time because people were there. Don't I start with Iron Man? And I no. You start with Captain America, First Avenger. Yes. But it's so now I know how that feels, having explained to me, because I know all these Assassin's Creeds, but I don't know what order they go in. I just know the first one came out and was called Assassin's Creed, so I thought that's the first one. But
exactly, because that's how I played them, as they come out. But then as I Odyssey,
it's like crap. I should have played this first.
With the way the story is and comes out, and I'm like, everything. Shit, this is technically the beginning.
And this is like, it's kind of like once like American Horror Story ends, everybody's gonna have to rewatch it. But like the seasons in the order they're supposed to be in now.
Well, on the video game storyline, my favorite video game, your Assassin's Creed, is my Batman Arkham. So the first one, the Arkham Origins, was the third one, but that's actually the first one.
Yep.
Because it came out before Arkham Asylum, and then you go Arkham City, and then you end it with Arkham Knight.
Well, fun fact: if you like and have played those,
You
pretty much know exactly how to play Assassin's Creed.
You know how to play Assassin's Creed.
It's like the same exact formula and everything. Detective Vision is Assassin's Creed. Eagle Vision.
It's the same engine.
It's literally
the same
thing.
It's the same engine.
Somebody told me that for Spider-Man, but I can't dodge out of the goddamn way. So somebody lied to me.
Yeah, Spider-Man's a little different than Batman.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. Can you say that again so I can have it clean?
Actually, that's the funny thing. She watches me play like the same game. She's like, you're like dodging and shooting. And
I go in for the full kill. I'm just like melee.
Actually, well, that was like when she first started playing. When she first started playing Assassin's Creed, that's what she was doing. She's like, whoa, going in like
you're an assassin.
I'm like, you're an assassin. You gotta play this. Like,
Fox, Fox, I'm the same way, because when I used to play Fight Night when they had boxing games on PlayStation and on the UFC, I just get my ass kicked because I'm not blocking. I'm just swinging, and it's like I'm swinging, I'm kicking. It's like you got 99% worth of damage. It's like but I'm
a Mortal Kombat girl. I'm a Dragon Age fight girl. I'm not stealthy.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't block. I just start swinging.
But
I don't do nothing.
But after a while of her watching me like do sniping, and she's kind of like her watching me do sniping and having that patience, little by little she adopted some of that play style, and she's like, one day she's like, all right, yeah, playing as an assassin is fucking better. She's like, okay, I get it now. Now I'm playing as an assassin is much better.
Now I get it. Daniel, have we exhausted all of our topics, or anything you want to add to this?
I wouldn't say we've exhausted, but I think you've had a great debut, and we should wrap it up the old nerd herder way.
That sounds great. What was the old nerd herder way?
Is that do we join hands in prayer? What's the old nerd herder way?
The nerd herder way was we all the places that we could be found, and then our signal was you'll know the signal.
Okay. Are you gonna try? It's like, yeah, I know. Ant-Man had a signal too. You'll know the signal.
You know what? Now that I've mentioned it, I've forgotten.
That's another reference if anybody gets that low key reference.
Gotcha.
So what's the signal? It's signal. Anyway, so go for it.
Reno 911. Well, no, Dan was saying something before we sign off. What do you want to say?
No, nothing. Harry's an asshole. Go ahead.
Well, we knew that.
All right. First, it's plugs.
Cheap plugs before we go.
Cheap plugs. All right, so first, you can find me, lovely me, on Instagram and Twitter, same handle, at Viva Foxy Foxy. That's FOXY and FOXXY. You can find me at Facebook.com/Foxy Foxy. Again, FOXY, FOXXY.
Gotcha. You can find me on Instagram at dvargas802. I think. And you could also find me on YouTube. Same thing, dvargas802. Twitter and all that stuff hooks into the Instagram. So just do the Instagram and the YouTube.
And while this is our first show on this new fancy thing here, we did have podcasts prior. We also did have Facebook streams prior, which you can all find on the official Nerdherders page at facebook.com/nerdherdersradio. While we have not been on the air, we still share lots of different articles from so many different nerd mediums, from wrestling to comic books to TV to what have you, whatever your fandom is.
We get a little bit of everything. We basically get, we pick and choose from our sources that we like to follow and condense them all down into one nice little page in there. So if you follow a comic book movie, you can follow comicbookmovie.com. Entertainment Weekly, you can follow Geek Tyrant. We just take the best little tidbits and put them all right in there for you.
Exactly.
Now it's your turn, Craig.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the setup. You could follow me, Craig Lagans, at Get This Craig Lagans on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at CraigLiGeons. Like the happily married couple that shares the screen with me, I too have a podcast that is currently suspended because of the unprecedented times we live in. But if you want to hear some old episodes of the time where I geek out and nerd out, go to Comic Book Gurus on WMMR.com. And while I'm off from podcasting, my Comic Book Gurus podcast Facebook page and Twitter page is alive and well with all the things that the lovely Foxy and Damien mentioned earlier. Comic book news, comic book movie news, comic book TV news, comic book news, all on Comic Book Gurus podcast Facebook page. Give us a like if you can. and follow us on Twitter at Comic Book Gurus. Thank you.
I made it a little bit easier. If you go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, any social media platform and type in DanLaw83, you will find me. You will find this podcast and all the podcasts that the formerly known as HIC Talk Radio Network has at vocnation.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, or if you want to watch this again, or if you missed it the first time and you're just coming in late, youtube.com/DanLaw83. It will be up in a few days. And I will try to get it over to the happily married couple, as Craig just said, to have them upload it to their old Facebook page.
Dang right.
To, like a little delayed, airing. Like, this was recorded 2 weeks ago, and now you can watch it again. And you try to expand the views for the old nerd herders. But I will figure something out, like sending it to them.
For everybody that was messaging Dan and everything like that were older,
yeah, Damien, real quick. 8 Butter, Uncanny Squirrel. Who else was in here?
Letty, Uncanny Squirrel is Squirrel.
Yes.
We have Kev was up there.
Torino X was up there.
Who?
Torino X.
I don't know who that is. Pennywise is Santiago.
Santiago, okay.
Okay. Oh, Pennywise. Harry, he can go to hell. And Joycey Danny, of course. And I think we got everybody. I believe we have everybody. Did we get Kev? Cool. You mentioned Kev, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. 8 Butter was Lenny, who was on a couple of our shows with us.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
Caramel Coaster, we used to call him.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys bringing them to me and bringing you back to them. Did I say that right? Yeah. All right. So now it's time for you to end it like you always used to, please.
All right.
Well, that being said, Miss Foxy, you my nerd herder.
You my nerd herder.
Craig, you my nerd herder.
I'm your nerd herder. And you my nerd herder.
And Dan Law, you are nerd herder.
You are my nerd herder.
Everybody watching at home, thank you so much for joining us for our big return. We look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks. Y'all are nerd herders.
Bye.